as I do these, one thought kind of leads to another. So if you notice kind of a connection to yesterday, it's not intentional. It's just kind of a thought hit me while I was doing yesterday's, and so it kind of carried over into today. Yesterday I was talking about our lingo, and one of the words as I was talking about it, and it's hit me more than once, was the word and the reference to being non-essential. And there's something about being called non-essential that really hits you, especially if you think what you do is significant. Um, you know, it just to be called unimportant. And you can, I mean, non-essential is a nice way of saying you're unimportant. Um, especially as some of these states open up and you look at some of the things that are this is important to be open to us. Now, golf courses have been open for a while, and I understand. Okay, it's out in the open air. There's built-in social distancing, you know. So, okay, fine. Bowling alleys are now being opened. Oh, bowling alleys. Well, there's nothing. You can't social distance, and you think about what a nice, I mean, sanitary atmosphere that is. Everybody's sticking their hands in these in these bowling balls where who knows whose hands have been there, and yeah, that's probably not going to have any, bacteria or virus or whatever being transmitted. That doesn't seem to make sense. And tattoo parlors, the sanitary places called tattoo parlors, those are being opened up, but churches, you guys are going to have to stay closed for a little bit longer. It's got kind of a blow to your ego. We would look at things that, and I don't know how many times this has happened to you, but you want to go and do something. Oh, because there is still society functioning. So you're gonna. Oh, we need to go pick up. They're closed. You can't go there. And it's things that you didn't really think of as important on a daily basis. I'm going to say this. I'm going to get in trouble with people, but like Hobby Lobby. Okay, I know for some of you, Hobby Lobby is a way of life. It's kind of like if Pinterest was a store, it would be Hobby Lobby, right? And but even still, there's sometimes where we need something, and that's the place that I think of. If I need art supplies or whatever, we've been doing some painting projects and having fun with the kids, and we need this color paint. I'll just go to. They're closed, and I don't want to go to Walmart because it's further away than just zipping up the street to Hobby Lobby. So I don't necessarily think of Hobby Lobby as indisposable right up until you think of I would have just gone there without even thinking about it. And and again, I know that it's a way of life for some of you, but for most of us it's not. We're talking today about, on a slightly more serious note, a devastated economy. Think about this devastated economy. And why is it devastated? Our economy is devastated right now because 15% of our population isn't working. 15%, approximately, more or less. I mean, think about that. That means 85% of our country is still working. And yet, we're talking about being on the verge of a Great Depression all over again. Well, that's tragic. How important is the minority? It's such an important thing, this 15%. It is amazing what a small percentage and how important that is, and we don't even think about that. And it's even in a lot, and think it's even in a lot of sectors that we are and have been told are unimportant. So a minority of people working in an insignificant area apparently were really, really important to how our society functions. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 is a reference most of us know. We're pretty familiar with it, talking about the body and the unity of the church and everything like that. And there's some statements in there that maybe we don't really reflect on, and we've heard it and maybe repeated it, but He says, if the whole body was seeing, where would the hearing be, or and smelling? Let me. There's a word picture there. If you were driving up the street and you saw, an eyeball, just a big eyeball, walking down the street, it would catch your attention. If you were, you're just you look out the window and we're on a main street here. If I just looked across the street and I saw a big nose waiting for the bus, I would say, that's a freak of nature. That's a freak. It's a big nose, just standing there waiting for the bus. And that's kind of what Paul's saying. If the whole body was just one thing that we think is really important, does something significant. This is significant because, what's more significant than vision? I think most people talk about, the sense that they feel most vitally important is vision, things like that. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to lose your sense of touch completely, and be paralyzed, but vision is so important to us, or hearing. Those are vital to communication and maintaining connection to people. If that was so important, where, and then we think of all the little functions of things, your little finger, just your little finger, and just some insignificant things, and we don't recognize how important your little pinky toe is to your balance, or something like that. You don't think about it on a daily basis. It's like the Hobby Lobby of your body, your pinky toe. And until it's really important to you. And God says the whole body is important. It's not just the things that we see that are dominant, but the whole body is important. And each member has its function. And the things, those little 15%, the body can be devastated if those little 15%ers aren't doing their function. It's devastating to the economy in the sense of the church. We don't want the church to be a freak, right? God didn't design the church to be a freak. We don't want people thinking that the church is a freak. So it's a freak if the church is only a minority in the sense of the quantity, the important minority doing the work. We wouldn't want that. And what a lot of people think of as the minority, the insignificance, those are vital. And it's devastating to a person's ego to be thought of as insignificant. And so he has a clue for us how to treat that in this chapter that we, I think, kind of brush past when we talk about this. He says, those parts which we consider less important. And he acknowledges that we have this tendency to look at certain members and go, not quite as important. You bestow greater honor on them. You go out of your way to make sure they're involved. But they're not really talented in this area, or they don't necessarily do this great. Good. Then you go out of your way to involve them. They don't sing the best, or they don't do this the best, then go out of your way and make sure that they are involved. So as we wrap it up for today, I want you to think about the people in your church. If you saw them walking down the street, there would be a part of you. If you saw them first, you go, I'm going to turn the corner and hope they don't see me. I'm going to get in this conversation with them, and it's going to take me an hour and a half, and fill in the blank. Those people that we have a tendency to look at as insignificant, as less important, he says, bestow the greater honor on them. Involve them, communicate with them. Let them know that they are important.